Oh yeah, fun fact, since I actually have a dice roller now right on my desk. So I can now roll a d20 anywhere I feel like. 18. Wow. Amazing. You too. Okay. So I can now make random saves. Ooh, thanks for the tougher safer spaces. What a good investment. I actually won it via the D&D Club raffle last year. I never really had a place to put it until I cleaned off my desk. So it's always kind of like sitting on my dresser, not really having any use. Which, you know, it's only fair that the D&D Club president and founder has a dice roll. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. Like, it's like legally obligated that I have a dice roll right now. To be fair, I wasn't even gonna win it. Just I beat someone's ass at Smash Bros. That day so hard, they physically took damage. Like, I beat them up so badly in Smash Bros. They fell out of the chair and ran on their ass in a weird way. They had to leave the room and go to the nurse's office because how badly they lost to Smash Bros. That's why I no longer play the game, because I am too dangerous. I physically cause harm to my opponents when I win. I mean, I'm playing Smash Bros. I'm not trying to die. No, you're gonna play me in Smash Bros. You're just gonna instantly take physical damage as the second you lose to me. That's the reason why I don't have a Switch. It's for everyone else's safety, not my own. It's so I can't harm random people indiscriminately online. Wow. Anyways, I got some fucking war stories to tell from the D&D club, not gonna lie. Like, the one time I nearly put a fucking club member into a chokehold because he didn't recognize the club's president, and he was literally defying my authority to my face. That was not a fun time for anybody. I'm just gonna tell that story real fast. So, just context-wise, I'm just gonna just use these actual fucking names, because I don't care enough to censor it. They're not gonna be watching this anyways. If they, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna actually use fake names that are vaguely similar. I'm sorry, Adrian, and, I actually don't know his name. I'm gonna call him John. So, Adrian has this fucking Omega Mont jacket, right? He was part of the club, and one of the campaigns we were running for the club for a while. And then one day, John, who was part of like another group's meeting, by the way. He wasn't in the party, he wasn't supposed to be in the room, was fucking with Adrian. We went with me, stealing his jacket, and was like playing keep away. Adrian was very clearly uncomfortable with this and asked me for help. I asked George calmly to give back the jacket. He did not listen. I asked him again, very calmly, like, hey dude, give back the fucking jacket. I'm not gonna ask again. He didn't listen. I then eventually just walked up to him, took the jacket, shoved out the door after I asked again. He's like, you're not the president. You don't have any authority over me. Which, I admit, I kind of fucking lost it at that moment. Because I was the fucking club president. I did have authority over the guy who wasn't even in the club. So I, immediately, got a little heated, and I grabbed the jacket and tossed the guy out of the fucking room by the back of his collar. I gave the jacket back to Adrian, and the guy walked back in and started pestering him. To which I nearly blew a fucking gasket as I basically threw him outside and pinned him against the wall, telling him to cut this shit out and to stop harassing my club members. The only reason why I let go was my peripheral. I spotted a teacher walking towards me, about to intervene. I was like, God damn it. So I basically just let him go and just walked back to the room to pretend that instant never happened after flashing a smile to the teacher. So, yeah. That's like the whole context. Basically, that's why I reacted that way when I took fucking dare type quiz. Where it's like, which of these annoys you the most? People not respecting your authority when they should. Because I have fucking dealt with that shit before, and it is annoying. Physical violence is the only way sometimes for people to respect your authority. Anyways, yeah, just more of the story. Don't fuck with my club members and don't fuck with my followers, or else I will get violent fast. I am very protective of the people that I have authority over, okay? Okay, what happened to the music? Yes. I will throw hands if I have to, you know, like... Okay, there we go, the music's back on. So I can stop, you know, being genuine and just, like, go back to bullying. Okay, this is some god shit like that. Just made yourself even cooler. Thank you, I know. Again, it sometimes feel like I'm stuck in I'm stuck as, like, the MC of some shitty anime, not gonna lie, because all this shit that I have to deal with. Just with the club and all that. Because... I got another fucking want to say, by the time that club nearly got associated with a school shooter, which made me fucking anxious as hell. Cause like I'm just gonna call him like Denny, I guess. So swear to God, I'm just telling war stories at this point from D&D Club on night, whatever. So basically, long story short, there's this person, Rayla, let's call her, who invited some friends over from JITC. She was already a pain-in-the-ass member of the club, but she wasn't breaking any explicit rules. I couldn't do anything to her, and I already told her to stop being obnoxious. She promised she would, but she brought some friends. One of them was another cadet named Denny, who was also in the JITC. He was fucking stupid because he was trying his best to be weird, but he doesn't know how to properly act crazy, so he was just being stupid. And then I mostly brushed him off because I was busy helping other club members run and play the game, because that was the experience group they were in with one of my one of my lieutenants, captains, what the fuck, let's call him Mitch. He was managing them, and it turns out that Denny was being such a pain in the ass that Mitch almost threw a fucking chair at them. The only reason he didn't, allegedly, is because a teacher was watching him. It's like, okay, that's good, you did not. Anyways, I caught Denny just walking through the hallway, and he looked at me and I was like, I can beat you up. It's like, no, you fucking cannot. And just moved on my day, because I wasn't gonna humor the dipshit, because I had other things to do. Until next day, I was minding my own business. It was dawn period. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. I was tired. When I got a text message saying, guys, I think the club might be linked to a school shooter. You guys know Denny? It's like, yeah, what about him? He just got pulled out of the class with some cops. Like, what? Yeah, it's some cops apparently. It's like, no fucking way. What happened? Yeah, apparently there was rumors going around that he brought a gun to school. I was like, what? Huh? Excuse me? And then... well, I can beat the monk. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? It's like, whatever. Probably just bad timing. As I then read the email sent out automatically at the end of the day saying there was an incident on campus. One of our students brought a gun onto the campus. The situation has been handled with. We'd like to let you guys know anyways, as part of our transparency. It's like, goddamn, the fucker really did bring a gun to school. So yeah, He got into school the exact day after he attended a D&D club meeting. I was like, what? Huh? I was like, oh no, don't fucking tell me. I was worried for a while that they were like, discover he went to a D&D club meeting the day before, and so like investigating the club thoroughly that year. I was like, oh no. Like, I'm already vaguely attached to a school shooting allegation. I can't be attached to another. No! I doubt the fuck was gonna do anything with it. I think he was just trying to scare other students with it. Because my impression of the guy was, he was stupid. He was just trying to act crazy for the lulz. He didn't really have an idea of where the line was. So yeah, that was fun. We used thought he was cool with a gun. Yeah. We used that tried to act crazy to someone who was already fucking losing it. So I saw right through that bitch. I was losing it at that point before I even saw him. It's like, I knew full well what it was like to be crazy, and he was not acting like it. Like, he acted way too composed, like he was trying way too hard to be all twitchy and shit. Let's go to a D&D club. You can find one, probably. Just know, running a D&D club is very difficult. I have a couple more war stories. You guys want me to tell them? I don't want. Next one though is gonna be a bit more positive because I don't want to be too negative about it. Like, it was a fun club. Just those dipshits made me anxious every single day. War stories, alrighty. So should I talk about like the struggles of trying to find a sponsor? Do I want me to talk about the club fair? How I went about promoting it? I'll tell you about both. So, keep in mind, I ran the D&D club from sophomore year. One follow features drama. Okay, I ran the D&D club from sophomore year to fucking senior year. I founded it in sophomore year with my best friend at the time, Binga Chillin', let's call him. Eventually, keep in mind, sophomore year was 2021. It was hybrid one, and only a third of the student population was at school. I'm just finding like a general history of the club. We had a total club population the first year of like 13 people. Which was impressive when only a third of the school's population was there. But like, it was like a sign that was like, there's some possibilities. Eventually though, Binga Chillin' left the club's leadership because he just wasn't interested in D&D. He founded the club because he was my friend. I was interested in D&D, but he wasn't. And we found a sponsor. Let's call him Megan, which is the actual fucking name. Because Megan here. Okay. So, we went around the sophomore year though. Mainly we found the club sponsors where you just go and classroom to classroom asking if they'd be willing to sponsor the club. And if they'd be willing, you know, like help us set up and just run some stuff. We had no idea what it was like managing the club. We figured it couldn't be that difficult. It wasn't that difficult, all things considered. We just needed the room. And well, when we go in to ask Megan, we found that she had a substitute teacher in. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, let's go ask some more. We eventually found a club sponsor that year in the form of a math teacher. Let's call him Billy Boy. Hey, Cracker, welcome in. I'm telling her D&D Club War Stories. How you doing? Anyways, I'm providing this background on just the D&D club activities, so what I'm saying just makes more sense. Because that club had a fucking sponsorship issue. I'm doing alright? Gotcha. So to recap the situation, Bing Chon was technically speaking the co-president at the time. He was my best friend, he wasn't interested in D&D and he left. And we had two clubs, and we had a club sponsor at that point. He went by Willie, let's call him. So Roy also played D&D somewhat recreationally. He occasionally joined in for the first year. He mostly just did random grade and stuff. Which was fine by me. Like, I didn't really ask them to play D&D with us. Just later on, we popped into Meg's classroom when she was teaching again. And we asked him, it's like, hey Meg, are you interested in D&D? He's like, yes I am. How do you know? Hunch. Oh, that's fun. I have an entire PowerPoint, by the way, dedicated to teaching D&D. 5 D&D books. I have on hand an entire set of dice. It's like, what? I was gonna find the D&D club next year if you guys didn't beat me to the punch. It's like, what? Okay, you wanna be our sponsor next year? Yes. Okay, that's off then. So the next year we had Meg as a sponsor, and she found another sponsor, a random history teacher who played D&D as well. Let's call him Lucas. That's his actual false fucking name. That's what I knew him as. Lucas was pretty chill as a person. He was also a history teacher. Just that year was junior year. So, like, it was pretty stressful, all things considered, but it was also easy as hell. So for junior year for the club, we had to focus on basically just finding sponsors to make sure we could have everybody. So for that, I got about 3 different rooms for us to use when we prayed in the hallway outside of Meg's room, because no one was going to call us on it. We had I said his actual name. Whatever. We had Lucas basically providing just a random pad for new students as well for them to run modules with. So like we had like a pretty full set. We had 5 sponsors and it was fitting because that year we had about 30 members of the club, which you know was quite a bit. Well, I was getting the flow of things. And for our group, and the group I was in, I created what we'll call the Old Guard. And the Old Guard was 5 members. I'll describe them as they come up later. Just the important one member is Michael, or Mikey, as I called him early on. The guy who nearly threw a chair at Den. That's the important one for now. And also Emil, I guess. Who is also there for a lot of the times, and she was just clunky, I guess. I don't fucking know the best way to describe her. She was the straight man of the group, basically. So that year, every year the school does what's called a club fair for rise and 9th graders. 8th graders going up to high school for the first time. So you do a club fair, basically show off what the school can offer, and we got a table. So for that year, I decided it'd be funny to make potions for the club fair. I could hand out for the D&D club. So to make the potions, what I did basically was I bought some Kool-Aid powder, various types, some potion flasks I call them, basically just Mile bottles. And then there's some random edible glitter and some sprinkles. And I just had a bunch of them sent out, because, you know, they looked green, had particulates in them. And were technically speaking edible. It was all fun and games until that's actually kind of cool. It was pretty cool. It got a lot of attention. But the issue was, I had no idea how to fucking explain D&D to somebody who's never played D&D before. So I was panicking, and my go-to explanation, which I don't think helped, was, it's like Monopoly, but with swords. Which is a terrible explanation, but I couldn't think of anything better at that time. Until I heard Michael describe it as basically playground rules. Basically a playground game of imagination. But there's rules in place to settle pointless arguments. I like that explanation a lot better than Monopoly with swords, so I went with that from then on. Actually created a club poster and everything, gave some explanations of what D&D was, and set forward in the next year, basically after a successful year, when I get told that Megan over there is now working at fucking Yale as an admissions coordinator. I was like, what the fuck? And oh, it's fine, we actually have the next line of control in the form of Rook. It's like, oh, that's fun. At least the club will have someone they actually know as the next president. I'm sure this won't be foreshadowing for a later issue. as I walk around and talk to Willie, as it turns out he's also moving schools. I was like, oh cool, that's only both the fucking main sponsors we had that year. I'm sure this isn't foreshadowing for any other issues. Actually, since this is my junior year, next year I'm a senior. So I can't fix any sponsorship issues as they come up next year, because I won't be here next year. Foreshadowing. So the next year rolls over and I'm a senior. But quickly, from junior year to senior year, the open house happens, where you can walk around the school and basically talk to teachers and get to know them before you actually have to get taught by them. And around that, we meet Megan too, a science teacher this time, who promised us during the sophomore year that she would sponsor the club when she got a chance, but she fucked off to Connecticut with her horses or something. Yes, they're both named Megan, and no, it didn't get confusing, I promise. And also when I discovered Rook too. So showed up. He's also a science teacher on the same floor as Megan too. But he's also known off his room for the club and just provide general advice. I knew him because I took it's Megan too, not just Megan, exactly. Rook too as well. Who was also the sponsor of gaming clubs. That's why, and he was my forensics teacher the year before that. So I knew him personally as a guy I could count on. So eventually, we managed to coerce Megan too into also sponsoring the club because she promised us she would on the sophomore year. Just she couldn't because she was going away the year after that, and she was always science Olympiad for the school. It's like, okay, cool, doesn't really matter. So eventually, the year rolls around, and our lineup is looking like this. We got Luke 1, Luke 2, and Megan 2 for every single student from the D&D Club. That year was our largest year yet, and we had one less sponsor than we did before. I was panicking, especially because I wanted to get the club started as early as possible. Because the year before that, people were complaining about how long it took for the club to start up. Because I was giving my comprehensive tutorials on how to play the game. And started the club like 3 weeks into the school year. So I want to basically bridge the process of getting the club started up so we have more time to play D&D. And so I can skip the tutorial faster. That will bite me in the ass later, creating the party by the way that skips the tutorial. Just foreshadowing. So eventually, I talk with like Lucas 1, the current head sponsor of the club at that point, and go, oh hey, what's the deal with the sponsor? It's like, oh yeah, I've actually talked to another teacher on the forum. We have another room we can use. It's like, oh that's nice. Okay, thanks bro, no problem. And we moved on. Eventually, I taught everyone how to play D&D for the first time for a brief tutorial in Lucas's one's room after the school year started about a week in, which is stupidly fast by the way. Most clubs didn't start until fucking September. We started early August. So I gave a brief tutorial on how to play D&D and make a D&D character, and this is when the Dennis situation happened. Dennis and Myra situation happened. It's like, oh, that's fun. I'm sure this isn't foreshadowing of any negative events that come out of this. So, starting out though, I was looking around for DMs, and we only had 3, counting me. I was like, oh no. And we had about 20-something members. Meaning, at peak, we had 10 members of party. It's like, this won't do. We need to find more DMs. And that's when I remembered I had old reliable Bob. So Bob was an old friend of mine from 6th grade, by the way, who I knew was into D&D and actively looking for a place to DM. So I told him about the club, and he was like, I bet. And so we managed to find a fourth DM and make the party size a bit more manageable, but it was still pretty large for some tables. But those first couple sessions with 10 people were a pain in the ass. But while we were figuring out the DM situation, we hosted some tutorial sessions just for people who already didn't know how to play the game. And we allowed others who already knew how to play to start playing already in a different room. ran by, Bembis, let's call him. This will become an issue, as you will shortly see. This is for note, George was a part of Bembis's group. You can see where this is going. Now, I'll give you a guess on where this is going on why Bembis, being the leader of the party that skipped the tutorial, and George, the guy who does not respect my authority, comes into play. I'll give you a guess. Go on. Whoa. Don't make me guess. Hint. Why do the Tojo clan members attack Kiru and Yakuza? The issue was, they didn't recognize the leadership positions. They didn't know who was in charge of what. So everybody in Bembis' group had no idea I was actually the club president. So anything I'd say to them didn't mean anything because I had no authority over them. And I couldn't do anything about it because I couldn't exert my authority over the situation without getting the sponsors involved, which would only make it seem like my authority is very weak. So I was stuck in a bad situation because of this, because now I had a group of outsiders who had no fucking idea I was the president, who actively interacted and mingled with the groups underneath my command and authority. We had a satellite group. Dnd Club had a fucking schism at this point. We had a fucking schism. That's how much we got. It's that we fractured. This will come into play later during the Dnd Club presidential elections. Yeah. You didn't expect the fucking schism of Dnd Club 2023 to come into play now, did you? This also came into play when later in the year— I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, we had 3 parties in one fractured group, that was a satellite party, who roughly knew that our group was also part of the same club, just didn't know how it fully worked. This will come into play though, as I mind my own business one day when I get a text from Bob, who goes, "Hey Kane, it turns out that one of the members in Bembis' group is actually a pedophile who makes weird comments about 12-year-olds. Can you do something about this?" It's like, I will bring it up. But I couldn't fucking do anything about it because I had no authority over them. I couldn't tell Bembis to keep their praise in line because they didn't know I had the final say over it. I couldn't let them know about the situation because they didn't fucking know who I was. That situation nearly gave me an aneurysm, by the way. Just saying. Like, I let Bembis know, and I tried my best ability to explain the situation. But I don't know how it resolved because I didn't have any fucking say over the situation other than just letting Bembis know. Shit was annoying greatly, in case you can't tell. Anyways, we don't have any say. That's sad. That's fucking annoying. You understand why now I grabbed the guy by the back of his shirt and physically threatened him to shut the fuck up now? You get why I kinda had to use physical violence to assert authority? Cause it was very clear Vaughns wasn't getting anywhere. I had to use fucking hands. I nearly lost it multiple times that year, by the way. So, let's move on. You know, Miss Mason. I know. There's more I'm forgetting, but if I remember anything done in the stream, I'll tell you. Let's move on to the D&D club fair that year, because our fucking plan was genius. So we coerced Bembis by basically twisting their arm and guilt tripping them into helping with the club poster a bit. So we made it look very beautiful. And then after that, I'm a very loud person, in case you can't tell. I know how to draw a crowd at this point. I've been doing it for the past 3 years. So I was managing to advertise well, when we noticed that less people were walking over to our booth and more people were walking over to other people's booths. So you wanna know what we started doing? And wait, no, they started walking over to TSA's booth because of the fancy robot they had. And it turns out, you wanna know what we started doing, by the way? That I find funny? So this D&D Club booth, it was officially just me and Bembis, just representing the club. But it was also Michael representing TSA and Emil representing Page Taunters. So, what we had happen was that Michael and Emil would desert from their posts to help advertise D&D Club, as we would get tape from the Page Taunters booth, walk up to the TSA's robot to start taping flyers for D&D Club onto it. So anytime they would look at the robot, they would just see a D&D Club flyer attached right onto it as well. It was okay because Michael was the one doing the taping, so it was a member from inside the TSA's club, so they couldn't say anything about it. But we had Thomas and Emil launch the booth. That got some traction. And the final thing that we did was that we wanted our flyers, and we wanted to get rid of them. So we decided to split up into teams, where me, Emil, and Michael would just leave the booth with flyers in hands, accost random people with them, shoving it in their face. Like, we have a D&D club, check us out, please. And just get rid of the flyers as fast as possible. It worked. And then we turned back to booth flyers, and we noticed that more people were still coming in. We noticed then, we still had the poster for D&D Club. So, I got Michael out in the middle of the floor. I got the poster in hand and climbed onto his back the second everybody started walking into the cafeteria from the orientation speech. And just started waving it wildly at them. Just, you know, to see how much we could chill for the club. All our members and Emil was working damage control at the booth. We were just attracting us on his back. We were piggyback. I was a piggyback I didn't have, by the way. It was very noticeable. I was on his shoulders, actually, not on his back. So there's this guy on his shoulders, waving around a D&D Club sign as noticeably as possible, directly at you, staring down people walking into the cafeteria. I was like, join now. It worked surprisingly well from what I hear. Apparently, the year after that, we had the most amount of freshmen we've ever had in club history. I've seen that may have ran. Yeah, but you will remember it was D&D Club. That's the thing. It got attention out. Just, oh. So, and then eventually the night came to an end for the D&D for the club fair after we completely hijacked it, basically. Just show from our club. And then we eventually just went home, and I just stole the poster with me because I had nowhere else to keep it. What is this doing here? What the fuck? What the fuck? Anyways, I guess you're wondering where I get my showing habits from. That's where I got my showing abilities from. Those club fairs. That shit was insane. But in the one to meal, they may have backfired and just attracted the wrong type of people. Because according to them, the type of person that would join, that's one way I saw posters, probably was fun. It was. But according to me, it probably backfired because the type of person that would join a D&D club probably would have, regardless if we advertised or not. Because they would be the type to seek it out actively. I disagree though, because the number of people that said, I had no idea we had a D&D club, clearly begged to differ on that fact. Like, oh, if I'd known we had a D&D club, I would have joined. Like, sure you would. If the 50 posters we put up and the giant sign waving didn't do anything. I don't fucking know. Ugh. It pains me every time I hear it. But I got a couple more club stories. I need to rest my throat for a hot second. Next up is the club's presidential election. Decide who is gonna be the next president for D&D Club. It's like the vast meeting of the year. Oh, what the fuck? They got Dios? No! I gotta kill every enemy twice now. Actually, it's like twice the money. That's fine. Okay, now story talent. What, did that not give it away from D&D Club? It's kind of hard to be a bad storyteller when you've managed the D&D Club, you know? Alright, let me now just go with the fucking nightmare. That was the presidential election of D&D Club. So, to introduce this, I need to go over a character we already talked about briefly called Adrian. Because to find the D&D Club president, I started scouring for them early on. Because I knew that if I want any hope that if the club was going to last past my senior year, I needed to find a good president. You know, someone with charisma, someone who was passionate about the game. And my biggest requirement was an underclassman with no other obligations so they could focus on the club. And also was passionate about D&D. So I started scouting for candidates. Of the candidates that I knew, Adrian seemed like my best bet. So I was supplying him. But to keep things fair, I made it a presidential election for the D&D Club president spot. That way, if people wanted to run for president, they could go for it, and that it wasn't just a dictatorship. So, along came Bembis. The person from Mario from the Satellite Group and the person from Mario who had no fucking idea I was the president. Apparently they heard through the grapevine that I was holding a presidential election. They technically fit every single requirement. So I was expecting it to be like a sham election, honestly. And it's like, it's an election for all intents and purposes, but I doubt anyone else is gonna volunteer. Because, you know, I wasn't expecting anyone else to even bother with the sham election. Turns out, Bembis had the brilliant idea of just volunteering themselves and then using the Satellite Group to vouch for them. As it turns out, they got into the club via Emil, part of the old guard from Aria. That's how they figured it out, from what I could tell. The election went like this. My process was simple. I'm not going to tell the candidates what they're going to do that day, but I'm going to have them plan to do a karaoke, and then the presidential debate, because it was also taking part at the same time as the end of the year party. When I announced the karaoke, everybody booed. I explained it wasn't going to have any bearings on the grade in itself. They still booed. I explained I literally gave a very convincing explanation. It's like, you see, it's not about the thing in itself. Like, as a D&D Club president, you'll be dealing with a lot of unexpecteds throughout this entire thing. This club is very chaotic. You need to know how to roll with the punches. The karaoke is a low-stake way of showing how well you can. We're not grading you on singing ability, we're grading you on the ability to get into it and to actually convincingly do it. To roll with the punches, more or less. I didn't tell them because that would defeat the purpose of the trial. They didn't buy it, so I did a vote to either keep karaoke or to not do it at all, and they overwhelmingly voted not to do the karaoke at all. Which I was like, they're cringe, this is still a D&D Club party, you know? Like, we're supposed to be having fun. Boo in high school came into some of that. I personally think my karaoke idea was a very good way to test how well people can roll with the punches, because I knew the next year was going to be very chaotic and very tumultuous. So after that point, I kind of just went, okay, whatever, get into the speeches then. So I asked them, I gave them a couple minutes to prepare, and then asked them to give a speech about why they should be voted in, what they think the biggest problem with D&D Club is as it stands, how they plan on fixing it. And you want to know what Bembis said the biggest problem of D&D Club was? The communication. When they themselves never fucking joined the club officially, they ran off to do their own thing before I could even get a Discord set up. They never joined the Remind. Yet they fucking complain about the communication in the club. I think it's very good if they could fucking find the building to begin with. In case you can't tell, I'm very heated about this still. Given the fact they managed to find the presidential election to begin with, I think the communication was just fucking fine. And they weren't even officially in the club. Needless to say, that pissed me off greatly. Okay, what's up with this music? Why did it change? I don't recall swapping the music over, you know. Because I hit shuffle. Anyways. And then Adrian gave a pretty good speech as well. It was clear though his specialty wasn't in public speaking because he was kind of awkward. Didn't really have that much stage presence. But I voted him in because I knew him well. I knew he was passionate about the game. Because for the first time I met him, he spent, I saw 20 minutes talking about D&D. And how cool his characters are, and about his friend's D&D's campaign. It's like, oh, that's cool, he's into D&D. Yeah, okay, I can see him potentially being a good president. And then no other good underclassman candidate came up. It's like, okay, my only bet here is Adrian, so I will go with him. You know, he lost the election, by the way. So it was Bembis, who was in charge of D&D Club. The same Bembis who split off from the club to begin with to form their own group. The same one who formed a fucking schism in the club. The same one who couldn't deal with a pedophile in their own group. And they were in charge of the club now. In case you can't tell, I'm vaguely annoyed about that. If I had the option to go back in that school and just manage the fucking club myself still, I would. Because I have zero... Because... I saw the fate of D&D Club today. And luckily it's in a better place now. But... Just know, the club wasn't in a good position to begin with at the end of the year. Because I forgot to mention one thing. Turns out Luke 1, he was going to fuck off to... He was gonna fuck off back to taxi driving from like school teaching, so he could no longer sponsor the club. And it turns out, a lot of the other club sponsors we had weren't going to be able to do the club next year. So I had a long backup list of sponsors ready to go, just in case. And then, eventually when I broke into the school this year, just to see how it was going and for like an interview project, I need to fucking rest my jaw real first, goddamn. I'm talking for a while. Anyways, yeah, I broke into the school this year. Well, twice. Wanted to see if I could. The other time was just for an interview project with one of my old teachers for English. And the one thing I wanted to see, basically, was just how was Dnd Club. Well, it turns out we broke into school. It's very easy. You want I can give you I can give you like a heist plan style. So the school has 7 buildings, and each of them have an auto lock installed that automatically activates every single day in between classes. Every single day during class time, as well as 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after school. But they dismiss for 7 minutes in between transitions. So what I did was I just showed up, waited until transition hit, just walked into the building like nothing happened, just walked to where I was going. Nobody batted an eye at the guy with the full beard and mustache walking into a school. Anyone did ask, I was just gonna say I was a senior. Just lie about it. It was pretty easy, all things considered. And the question why I didn't have my backpack, I was just gonna say, oh yeah, I left it in my car. I was here to get something from the school real fast. And it's like, I forgot it in the casually broken. Yeah, it was pretty easy. It was for an English project, okay? I needed to interview a teacher, and I had to arrange it somehow. I figured the easiest way would just be breaking into the school in the middle of the school day, just doing it during class. I got it was okay as well, so like, technically speaking, I was a guest of his. I didn't want to deal with the whole check-in process, so it was easier if I just broke in. Like, no one knew. Like, I could just walk out, honestly. It was also the end of the year, so no one really cared too much either. Security was a lot laxer than it should have been, not gonna lie, for a school, but what can you do? They can't exactly screen all like 10,000 students that go there, now can they? But anyways, yeah, I checked out the Dnd Club status this year, and it's fucking weird. So it turns out Bembis now has Emil as co-president, because the job of being a president is so difficult according to them, they needed a co-president to help. And then, let's see, every single sponsor that I set up as a backup suddenly decided spontaneously to back out of the deal I had arranged. So Megan too, she fucked off somewhere else to do a Manta. And then both the 2 other backup sponsors I had was so overwhelmed with other club duties that they couldn't actually sponsor the club effectively. So the club was essentially free-falling, with new management for a good bit of time. Until Rook too stepped into play. The fucking genius that he is, he was already a sponsor of Gaming Club and he saw the straits Dnd Club was in, and he decided to do it as a favor, essentially absorb Dnd Club into the Gaming Club. So nowadays, Dnd Club is now a part of the gaming team, technically speaking. But none of there's like no new members in that club either, except for Emil. It's entirely, except for Emil and her small group of friends, there's no new blood in that, there's no old blood in that club. It's mostly freshmen now, which is an issue for the club's longevity. But that also means I was so successful at the club promotion that I got the club's population to be mostly freshmen now. And then, when I checked in on the club, Bembis had the fucking gall to blame me for the bad hand the club was dealt, when I did everything in my fucking power to ensure that they had anything left over. I didn't know Megan 2 was gonna fuck off to a different school. If I did, I would have gotten another backup sponsor. I didn't know that M&A were gonna back out of their deal. If they did, I would have gotten different sponsors, or at least told them to not. Or tell them to tell Fembus. Like anything, Chloe. But no, all of this I had no info on. I was blamed for the bad hand the club was dealt when I did everything in my power to fight against it. So yeah, how the club is treated nowadays pisses me off just slightly. Although I am grateful to Lucas too for taking over responsibility for the club and absorbing it into gaming club. Because with that means the club can at least last a bit longer. And it has like a foreseeable future now. Just Ooh, delicate watches, that's fun. Wait, Void Weavers, oh fuck. It's maybe Joe, huh? Anyways, that's most of the D&D Club War Stories I can think of right now. And I'm not gonna tell the fucking... It's like... I mean, there was the time I also made a cost-ass object for the club. I think it was like a cheesy... It was like a chili cheese dog casserole I made for the club. As a joke. It was a fucking cost object, though. Which I'll get into later. Just, ooh. That's all the War Stories for now, at least. Because I can't tell all of them immediately. Like, that's my content we're talking about. Just know that senior year of high school was very fucking chaotic, even outside of the club. I had so much shit going on. Stay tuned until the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, where I tell another 2 hours of stories. But we do have like another 2 hours of stories. I mean, that club gave me a lot of shit to talk about. Not even including the D&D campaign part of the D&D club. I was just talking about the management side of D&D Club, not even the D&D part of D&D Club, which was its own thing.